Hi everyone, it's Chris here, and welcome to the long not awaited, I guess, episode 6 of No Dedication is Good Enough. This is a not a regular series for new watchers, where I essentially talk about my journey through dealing with anxiety and depression. And I've noticed the last couple of videos that, for some reason, they seem to be all released in August or September. You know, I started the series 3 years ago, and they were in August and September. Then I brought it back for one about my HS in 2022, and that was in September. And now this one's being uploaded in September. So maybe, I don't know, maybe sort of like that end of summer, start of autumn, maybe like the time where I reflect the most, I guess. About essentially how everything's going on physically and mentally. But yeah, this one is about pretty much the last year of my life, which has been probably one of the most difficult. It has been very tough indeed. And yeah, let's essentially kick off with the first thing on it, which is I'm now in therapy, which I have been for about a month and a half at this point. And that's essentially for my social anxiety disorder, which is, yeah, something I've sort of known about for a while, but it wasn't like fully confirmed or anything. But it was certainly there on show quite often. And yeah, so pretty much this year has just sort of brought that to the forefront, which pretty much set that, what set that off was in April of this year, late April of this year, that I essentially cracked. I suffered a nervous breakdown. My first one in 9 years. And it was tough. Very tough. It was very, very frightening to go through, because essentially it was dread, it was terror, which is what it was. The sort of feelings you're having when it comes to that. You're essentially in a fetal position, just terrified. Just because of so much anxiety, so much stress, so much that you don't feel like you're going to get back to a normal. You know, you feel like something terrible is about to happen. You get lost in your own thoughts, you get lost in your own head, you get lost in what your mind is telling you, which, you know, even if it's your mind, it's not always true. You know, on a lot of occasions, you know, mind can play tricks on you. And yeah, pretty much that lasted pretty much an entire evening. And I was still essentially feeling the effects of it for probably about a week. To the point that essentially I made some very stupid, reckless, and rash decisions, which have all been sorted out now, so that's all good. Before anyone asks, I'm not going to divulge what it is, or what they are, of course, but I will say no one was hurt, not even me. So, you know, it's nothing like really bad when it comes to that. But it was still some stupid, reckless decisions that I decided to make. But yeah, no one was hurt, not even myself. So all is good there. I was signed off of work medically for 2 weeks, which I didn't take. Yeah, I probably should have, to be honest, but no, I didn't take the time off that my doctor said I should have had, because I wasn't mentally capable. I wasn't mentally fit to work. But I did anyway, because I guess that's just how I am these days. You know, you sort of try and keep yourself focused. You got to try and sort of push yourself, so you don't, so you don't feel, depressed. You don't feel anxious, and in the end, it does burn you out. It runs you down completely. And yeah, I mean, it's sort of carried on since April when it happened, but it's been nowhere near as bad. It has. There have still been certain situations and certain days where it's still been quite bad. On one occasion, for example, I had people don't know, I have HS, hidradenitis suppurativa, which is a chronic skin disease, and I was going through a flare-up a couple of months ago, and I realized that I was getting very, very strange symptoms. I've dealt with HS for 15 years, and I had never gotten these symptoms with it before, which was, I had a very massive fever. I had like quite nasty joint pain as well, and I was very sort of confused and drowsy. And I was thinking or something like that, I don't know. Am I going into shock or something? Am I going to like maybe like a toxic shock or something like that because of the HS flare up? And I didn't even think as an option, obviously, maybe have a shower or something, cool you off, you may feel better afterwards. And I had the thought in my head and I didn't do it for 6 hours, while I was just progressively getting worse and worse and worse, which is scary to me, I guess, because if it was something like, let's say, a toxic shock or a sepsis or something, then if I had left it, I probably wouldn't be here right now, but I guess just a depression or whatever, I was just fine with whatever was going to happen, which isn't a good mindset to have. It certainly isn't. So yeah, that's sort of how the therapy sort of started, I guess, and it has certainly been helping. It's been helping loads. There have been certain coping mechanisms you realize, at least even small ones that you do, like for example during conversations and everything. I noticed, for example, that I didn't give my mind a break at all. And I think like during working days and everything, I haven't given my mind a break in about 4 years, to be honest, while I've been working. And a lot of that is to do with break and lunch times. Usually I just stay in the same place, and, have some lunch and then, back to work again. Which essentially, yeah, I'm giving my body a break, but I'm not giving my mind a break. And, so yeah, no wonder I was feeling so tired after work, where to the point that you feel like, and then after that you feel like you're in a rut. You feel like you just wake up, go to work, then fall asleep again when you finished work because you're so tired. So yeah, sort of recently, when I've been on lunch, I have gone essentially out for walks, for about a mile walk, just around sort of where I live, and just sort of looking at, everything, all the plants, all the fields, all the roads, even the cars, stuff like what the weather's like and everything. You can hear everything, like the wildlife, birds and things like that, and it's been really, really calming. Simply because you focus your mind on something else for a bit, which resets how you are when it comes to something like work, for example. And yeah, it's been really helping, and obviously I've noticed things like I've been told about the vicious triangle, when it comes to how anxiety just builds and builds and builds. And especially when it comes to like social anxiety disorder, which I have, which is essentially anxiety but in social situations. Which, yeah, it's essentially a problem turns up, it triggers your anxiety, you think about it with no solution in mind, unless a bad one, then your mind will just keep telling you about that, until the cows come home. And then it just keeps going. It ends up being a vicious cycle, and it's horrible. And that has happened so often that I've got myself worked up because of nothing, and it's. But that's the thing, I guess, is that you get so worried, you get so, dread, you dread, what's going to happen tomorrow. And then it ends up just being the same day, and nothing goes wrong. But then, sometimes you feel like that weight off your shoulders, and then sometimes you don't, and then you feel like, oh, maybe it'll happen the next day, and I guess on my side, I need to give my mind a break, is the first thing. Be kinder to myself, I guess, is the other one, because I do take things hard on myself quite a lot, when it comes to things I do wrong or everything like that, and, in the end, we're only human. We're allowed to make a mistake. We're allowed to make mistakes. That's how you learn. It's one of the best ways of how to learn. And yeah, I would just replay it in my head over and over and over again until it essentially consumes you, and that's sort of what's been happening. So I think that these little mini breaks away, like going for a 30-minute walk on my lunch, for example, is, it's been incredibly beneficial for me, and I will continue to do that, as long as it continues to work. I guess it's doing quite well at the moment, in comparison to what I was during the summer, or even during my 30th birthday, even, which, yeah, the essentially that hasn't helped turning 30, but that's his own thing. The passage of time exists, and and you're just so worried about the future, I guess, but you think so much about it. You think way too much about it instead of living in the present, and you realize that your present's going quick. You're 30 years old now. It's not like you're 22 anymore. You're in your 30s now, so yeah, you get a lot more worried when it comes to that, at least on my side. But yeah, all this has been helping so far, and yeah, I hope that it helps out a lot more in the coming months, I guess. All right, guys. So I'm just gonna end the video here on this one. Thank you very much for listening. I hope this video's giving you a bit of an insight into essentially how my mind is right now. But also, if it's helped you out as well, or it feels like that I sort of maybe understand your conditions even slightly, then that's all brilliant. Let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, I've been Chris, and I'll see you for a happier me. I'll see you around, everyone.